Hi, my name is Richa Gautam and I represent CaresGlobal, and I'm very thankful to HinduACTion for providing us this platform today, the Congressional Briefing, to talk about the rising trends in Hindu hate in the United States. Prejudice, disinformation, and discrimination are typically the foundation of all hate. Currently, the disinformation campaign regarding caste in the USA is a veiled attack on the Hindu American community. Cloaked in the finely crafted garb of social justice, colonial identitarian politics of caste, Dalit, Adivasi, Brahminism, and other harmful tropes are brainwashing Hindu Americans and Americans, Indian Americans, and also the youth of United States into thinking that caste discrimination is rampant in the United States without any evidence and lack of any police complaints. What is worse is the alarming trend to institutionalize these colonial tropes that enslaved India actually, just like it enslaved the African Americans at one point, and adding these tropes into US civil rights policy and in corporate policy and in university campuses. Sadly, only a few handful of academics know that caste was a colonial trope and had colonial roots. This is because legacy atrocity literature generated over centuries, as well as newfound gizmos like the critical caste theory, are packed into colonial utensils like Dalit and Adivasi terminologies to maintain the falsehood about Hinduism being casteist, of Brahminism, and of a hierarchical system of subjugation. As Dirks has pointed out, caste was an ethnographic term and device to rule the rich and diverse population of India through colonization. Today, the United States, since 2018, is facing recolonization of the Indian Americans. And we discuss here the various ways in which this has happened. One conference attended by Ivy League universities called Dismantling Global Hindutva spewed hate against Hindus in an institutionalized manner. And it becomes alarming for us to think that our own students and even foreign students that come from India are attending these colleges and facing these tropes in a rampant case of discrimination and Hindu hate. This is the weaponization of caste in the United States. It is manifested in multiple channels of Hindu hate and Hindu marginalization. For example, the most important thing is we do not have a seat on the table. Many Hindus are not allowed to tell their story in media, in social media, and there is a lopsided narrative. In many places, non-Hindus are in charge of deciding what Hinduism means, how it should be defined, and how caste policy should be authored. This is against civil rights in the United States. Secondly, for example, selective usage of the 8-year-old stale equality lab study, which is unscientific, is used in place of Carnegie Endowment survey, which is a much more representative sample study, which shows that caste discrimination does not really matter in the United States, is the least significant of all forms of discrimination ever seen in the United States. Even more pernicious today is the fact that we are not allowed to tell our story, that the media is using anecdotal, anonymous, and stories without sufficient legal standing to talk about allegations as facts, as seen with the Babs Temple caste discrimination case seen in New Jersey, as well as the Cisco case, which is now dismissed, and the plaintiffs have been, defendants have been exonerated, but the stories still continue based on flimsy or even fabricated charges. This is serious disinformation, and we are seeing this disinformation inform policy papers, bills, and also misappropriating taxpayer funds for DEI purposes. Aisha Wahab authored SB 403 in California, calling it a necessary caste bill, alleging rampant caste-based violence, rapes, and murders in the United States with absolutely no evidence. In conclusion, without a doubt, Hindu Americans are facing institutionalized hate and egregious trampling of their civil rights. What happens when the CRD or the Civil Rights Department violates rights, First Amendment rights, civil liberties of two Hindu Americans, Sundar Iyer and Ramana Kompella? Today we have Sundar Iyer, prime accused in the Cisco caste case, to tell us his first-person account. Sundar is a 4-time serial technology entrepreneur, and I would like to welcome him to tell us his story. 3 of the startups were acquired by Cisco Systems. He has studied engineering at IIT Bombay in India and is a PhD in computer science from Stanford University. Today he is also known as the CEO and prime accused in the Cisco caste discrimination case. Now honorably exonerated from these false allegations, he is here to tell his fabled story, wearing a mantle he neither wanted nor deserved. Here's the story of Sundar Iyer. Namaste.